Hello everyone, this is Vibhuti Upadhyay and I welcome you all on Prep Insta's YouTube channel. As you know, placement season is around the corner and in next 3 to 4 months, we will start getting notifications for on-campus placements. From now, around after 6 months, we will start getting notifications for off-campus placements. So there is a huge, discussion topic between all of you that how can one crack a service-based company or how can one get placed in a service-based company. So this video is particularly for that reason. I will be giving you a detailed roadmap through which you can crack a service-based company. So without wasting any time, let's get to the video. Before getting to know how you can get placed in a service-based company, you should exactly know what is a service-based company. Service-based companies are the companies that do not have a primary product, but they do businesses with other companies and they provide services to other companies, which means their primary business is to provide services, which means they work for other organizations or have client-based products. The example of these companies are like TCS, Wipro, Cognizant, Mindtree, Capgemini, and many more, right? So these are the service-based companies. After you got to know what exactly is a service-based company, let's move to the rounds which are there in a service-based company. Now, the tests in the service-based company are divided into 3 major sections, right? What are those? First is this online aptitude test, right? Second is this technical written test, and third is this interview round. I will be giving you details of all these rounds in the extensive way, so please stay tuned till the end of the video. Let us start with this online aptitude test. Online aptitude tests have 3 rounds, basically 3 rounds, which is quants, logical, and verbal, right? So these 3 rounds, quants, logical, verbal. You can clearly see here data interpretation and visual reasoning are present. These are the extra sections, but most of the companies now have included data interpretation in quants and visual reasoning in logical. So you can see questions of DI and VR in quants and logical respectively. Here you can see another name, which is a game-based aptitude. We will be discussing about this later in this video. Particularly section 1.4 will be clearly describing what game-based aptitude is and which company are having their placement rounds with game-based aptitude. Right? Now let us move on to the Quants section. Now Quants section have various topics, but you cannot prepare all these topics in the upcoming months. So I will be discussing what are the priority topics which you should go for, and then what are the second priority topics if you have some time left for the placement exam, right? First and foremost, let's start with this other important section. You can clearly see this important section has been divided into elementary statistics and DI, right? This particular section is very important. Why? Because if there are, let's say, 25 questions in this quants round, you can expect at least 10 from elementary stats and DI included. So this section, these 2 sections are very important for any student to prepare, right? Now, let us move on to the other sections. You can clearly see quants round here has been divided into 3 primary sections, which is number system, mensuration, and arithmetic ability. I will be encircling the important topics in a circle and I'll be taking the second priority topics in this yellow marker. You can take this screenshot once I have discussed all the topics, right? Now let us come to the priority topics. Priority topics in number system are number system, HCF and LCM. In mensuration, area, shapes and perimeter. Do not forget that this also includes volumes of 3D shapes, right? So this is important. Now in arithmetic ability, allegations and mixtures, ratios and proportion, work and time, speed, time and distance, equations, series and progression are the most important topic which you should go for in the priority, right? Now let us come to the second priority topics. Second priority topics in mensuration are none. Area, shapes and perimeter plus volumes will do 100%, right? You can prepare only this particular topic and 3 to 4 questions will be coming from mensuration, and all of them will be either of areas, perimeter or volumes. Most probably of volumes. Like if there are 4 questions, 2 will be from volumes, 1 will be from perimeter and 1 will be from area, right? But in arithmetic ability, percentages, profit and loss, averages and probability and ages. These are the second priority topics. Why these are the second priority topics is because we all know percentages, profit and loss, averages, ages and probability we are learning from class 6. We have, induced the concepts of these topics. We do not require to prepare these topics from scratch. These are very easy topics and you can complete these topics in 1 week or 2 weeks of time max. So these are the second priority topics, but you will require time for allegation mixtures, ratio proportion, work and time, speed, time and distance. Now work and time and speed, time and distance are the most important topics. The major chunk of questions in the exam can be from work and time and your speed, time and distance. So I would request you to take a screenshot and prepare these topics very well so that you can clear the aptitude round. Why? Because the primary aptitude round, if you will not able to clear that, you will not be able to sit for any of the rounds which are lined up further, right? So this is the core crux of getting placed into a service-based company, aptitude round. Now let us discuss the logical round which is there in the syllabus. Similarly, like aptitude round, logical round have also been divided into 4 categories. One is identifying word, numeric pattern, problem solving, decision making. This proportional reasoning is an optional topic. You can go for it, you can choose not to go for it, because the questions in this particular topic is very easy. It's basically Venn diagram, right? And everyone can solve these kind of questions. So it is optional, and most of the companies do not prefer to ask the questions from proportional reasoning. Now, in this other important sections of logical reasoning, which is VR. VR is basically visual reasoning, in which you can find topics from abstract reasoning, inductive reasoning, visual analogy, spatial reasoning, mirror and water images, and embedded figures. Most of the companies nowadays have induced this particular topic, visual reasoning, in their logical exam. If there are, let us suppose, 20 questions in the logical, I can guarantee that 10 will be from VR. So this makes this particular section very, very important. And this particular section is quite tough for various students whose visual analyzation of spaces, figures are not very good. So you need a proper 3 to 4 weeks of rigorous training to get a particular command over visual reasoning topic. Now let us move to the other part, which is identifying words, numeric pattern, problem solving, decision making. right? In this particular logical round, the topics which I have mentioned on the screen, most of them are important. You have to cover most of the topics. Why? Because first, the question number in the logical round are less. Half percent or quarter percent will be taken by VR, which is very important. If you have cleared VR, you have cleared logical round. Let me be very clear with this. In identifying word, you can go for word pattern, right? Numeric pattern, only number series is there, so it is very important. Problem solving, all these three, seating arrangements, blood relation and directional sense are very, very important, right? In decision making, statements and conclusion and data sufficiency are very important. For the second priority of topics, which I discussed in quants, in logical you can go for letter series and you can go for syllogism, right? Syllogism is very easy. You can solve syllogism by Venn diagram. It is very easy, or tick and cross method. But your main focus should be on these three, this particular other important section, and statement and conclusion and data sufficiency. All these topics are the main core of logical round. You will not find any question apart from this particular round or apart from this particular topics, right? So for this also you can take the screenshot of the slide so that for later use you can come back to the video, or you can scroll through your gallery and you can check whether which topic you have completed or not, right? Now let us move to the third round, which is the verbal round. Now in verbal round, as you can see, there are very, very less topics, right? And in verbal round, all of these topics are very important. You will not take much time to, get a command over this particular round, because we use English in day-to-day life. We listen English music, we watch English movies, right? So getting command over this particular round is not very tough. But there are some companies who particularly make this round very tough. And one of them is, you must have heard its name, it's Infosys. Infosys makes the toughest verbal round. I don't know what the reason is, but from the analysis of past 10 years questions in the verbal round, we at PrepInsta got to know that Infosys creates the toughest verbal round. So for Infosys, you need to practice the verbal a little bit more, but apart from that, from Infosys, you can easily crack verbal round, right? So this was for the aptitude round. Now you must remember that I had talked about game-based aptitude and I have mentioned section 1.4. So section 1.4, game-based aptitude. What many companies now are doing is they are replacing their logical and quants round with the game-based aptitude. Only two of the companies till now have replaced it. One is IBM and second is Quants, right? So in this particular round, you will be getting games from grid challenge, digit challenge, switch challenge, motion challenge, and doesn't fit the rule. We have created some quizzes for IBM and Cognizant. You can go to prepinsta.com and prepinstaprime.com, check the questions of this particular topic, and you can create a strategy that how can you crack this particular round. Cracking this round is not tough, but as the questions and games is a new topic to you, is a new phenomena for you, you can take a little bit more time to get to know how you will be able to crack this particular round, right? So this was for online aptitude written test. Now moving from online aptitude written test to technical written test. And in technical written test, the first is online technical test. Now online technical test comprises of questions of CMCQs or MCQs from various topics. These topics can be from C++, C, Java, Python, OOPS, OS, DBMS and SQL. Most of the companies nowadays ask questions from these four, right? DBMS can be your first priority. Second priority can be your SQL. Third priority can be your operating system. And fourth can be your OOPS. So I would request you to go to prepinsta.com and prepinstaprime.com. Go through these subjects which we have there. Attempt the questions, attempt the quizzes, see the videos there, see the lectures, and you can easily crack online technical test MCQ round, right? Now after you have cleared this MCQ round, there is one more round in the technical written test, which is coding test. Now apart from previous years, from last 5 years, companies are increasing their level of coding. From basic coding, they are now moving to intermediate and even competitive coding. You can expect codes to write in a company from DSA, competitive coding and intermediate coding, as I always said. And there can be some companies who can give you questions on basic coding questions, and all of those questions are covered in our top 100 codes. I'll be providing the link of this particular page in the description. You can directly click there and go to the top 100 codes page, and there are several codes which have been asked in TCS, Wipro, Cognizant, Capgemini, Mindtree, and you can scroll through the codes. You can get to know what kind of questions can be asked, though the probability is very less, but still to enhance your concepts, to enhance your skills, you can obviously go for top 100 codes page. But again, I would say you take classes of intermediate coding, competitive coding and DSA to clear online coding test, because this is the most important round after aptitude. If you have not cleared this round, you will not be going to the interview, you will not be clearing the written test altogether, and you might stay where you are. So this is the most important round, right? Now after discussing online coding test, there is only one round left. Before going to that one round, which is obviously interview, many companies open their portals again. Why? They open their portals for updating your resume. What you can do is, once you get the mail that you have cleared the written test and now you will be getting slots for interview, I would suggest you to go to the registration pages of the companies for which you have registered. Check whether they have reopened the portal or not, and if they have, then I would recommend you to kindly upload your updated resume with all the details, with all the correct details, because your interview, apart from technical, the HR interview will be purely on your resume, and if you will not able to clear your HR interview, you will not be able to get it, right? So with that bonus tip, let's move to the interview round. Now interview round in the service-based companies are majorly divided into two categories. One is your technical interview round and second is your HR interview. Some companies do take this managerial interview round, but as far as I know, only one company does this, which is TCS, right? So let us start with technical interview. Now, in technical interview round, you can expect questions from these topics, which are AI, ML, Power BI if you have applied for data science job profile or data analysis job profile. Then you can also expect questions from cybersecurity, cloud computing, and ethical hacking. Plus the questions from your projects which you have mentioned in your resume. This is also very important. Apart from this, you can also expect questions from competitive coding, intermediate. The interviewer can start the questions from competitive coding, intermediate coding, can ask questions from AI, ML, cybersecurity, cloud computing, ethical hacking, and then at the end of the technical interview, he can ask or he cannot ask the questions from projects. But it is very important to know what project you have created, because if the interviewer asks questions regarding your projects and you're not able to answer that, your candidature will be rejected. That is for sure. Your candidature will be rejected, will not be able to go to the managerial interview round or the HR interview, right? So in this particular round, these topics, apart from the projects, competitive coding and intermediate coding, questions are being asked. We have data, we have interview experiences of students stating that they have been asked questions from these topics. So my recommendation is that you at least get an idea of all the topics which I mentioned. Like the topics are like AI, ML, cybersecurity, cloud computing, ethical hacking, and projects, competitive and intermediate coding. So you must know for sure, right? Now, after technical round, as I said, managerial round and HR interview round is left. So let us suppose you have given your candidature, you have applied in TCS, and after technical round they will go for managerial round. As I said, most of the companies do not take managerial round, so this is an optional round, and even TCS do not take managerial round always. Based upon how you have given your technical interview, you can be directly sent to HR or you can be rejected. This particular round mainly depends if interviewer wants to take this round or not. Let us suppose interviewer decides to take this round. So you can expect questions in this particular round from your leadership skills, your conflict solving techniques, like if you became a manager and there is a conflict in your team, how can you handle that conflict? So they will give you some situations and you will be judged on that. Ability to handle pressure. Let us suppose you are a project manager, you have been given a project. Again, situation will be given to you and you will be judged on that particular thing. But questions having the ability to handle pressure can be asked, right? Obviously, in an interview round, if it is not technical, HR or managerial, your communication skills will be tested. So yes, and again, situationship questions to judge your ability, that how will you act in a particular situation, in a particular environment, in a particular work pressure. questions can be there to judge that. This was all for managerial interview. There's nothing more which will be asked. The duration of this round will not be more. It will be restricted to I suppose around 10 to 15 minutes max if the interview is very indulging in asking questions and all. But it can go below than that. 5 to 10 can be also. So yes. Now, managerial interview round has been cleared, or you have given managerial interview round. Then what you will be going through is HR interview. Now, HR interview round is the final stage. You have cleared all the previous stages. This is basically a formality, but some companies do reject people on the basis of their HR interview. So in HR interview, what kind of questions will be asked? Very basic. Tell me something which is not in your resume. This is the very basic question. Where do you see yourself in next 5 years? Correct. This can also be asked. Why you want to join our company? This question can also be asked. Let us suppose you are from mechanical, EC, any stream which is apart from CS or IT. The favorite question is, if you are not from the CS IT domain, why you want to shift into this particular? This is the most favorite question. Apart from that, some situations, puzzles, questions can also be asked to check your judgment, to check your ability to answer, to check your ability how you act in a particular given pressure situation. Communication skills, obviously, because it is an interview. Interview etiquette. Interview etiquette is how you present yourself, how you sit in an interview, how you communicate with people, how respectful you are, right? How calm you are. So this comes under interview etiquette. So after interview etiquette, these two topics, how well you know yourself plus hobbies. This basically defines your personality. So most of the interviewers do ask about your personality, what accomplishments you have gained in your college years, in your school years, what sports you play, what hobbies you have. All these things either you have mentioned in your resume, they will ask, and if you have not mentioned but you mentioned this in your interview, they will surely ask. Many interviewers also want to see your work. Like if you have said that I love photography, right? So they might ask you that, okay, if you love photography so much, show me some of your samples which you have clicked, your best photo or your worst photo. So these things you have to keep in mind. They might ask you, if you say like you love to read books, what books have you read, what are the main points you have gained from that book, right? So these questions can also be asked, which can be in your resume, which cannot be in your resume, depends how you make your resume, right? If you have mentioned this in your resume, they will surely ask. And if you have not mentioned and you have mentioned this particular thing in your interview, then also they will ask. So this was the last round to get placed into a service-based company. If you have passed Aptitude plus Tech plus all the interview rounds, there are 100% chances that you will get a selection made. So at this particular information, I end my video. I hope you have liked this video much. I hope I have given the utmost detailed roadmap which a student wants, which you want in particular to get placed in a service-based company. If you like this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you have any doubts regarding anything, you can ask our team in the comment section below. Till then, keep studying, keep hustling, and I'll meet you in the next one. Thank you so much.